Welcome to Untold Physio Stories, a podcast that informs and educates by connecting you to rehab industry leaders who share their candid successes and failures in business and practice.
This episode of Untold Physio Stories is sponsored by Edge Mobility System. Edge Mobility System is your online site for everything a PT, OT, DC, MT, ATC, or fitness pro would need. Get certified in blood flow restriction therapy or training online. Check out our full modern manual therapy seminars, ISTM toolkit, Edge suspension trainer, portable tables, and more. Untold Physio Stories listeners can save 10% by going to edgemobsys.com. That's edgemobsys.com/untold to save 10% off their first purchase.
Edge Health and Tech Solutions. We do websites that work for you and give you an edge over the competition. Did you know that you have less than 10 seconds to capture someone's interest in your website before they click away? How about the fact that most people are accessing your website from their phone? Save thousands and get a fully mobile, appealing, and SEO-optimized website linked to your social media, email list, and Google My Business. All for one low price and no monthly fees. Why not keep doing what you do best in your business and allow us to handle the tech side? Let's get started. Find us at edgehealthandtech.com.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Untold Physio Stories. I'm one of your hosts, Dr. E, with Modern Manual Therapy and Edge Mobility System. My co-hosts, Dr. Dana Palmer and Dr. Andrew Rothschild, aren't with me today. But with me is Dr. Sean Wells, and he has some stories, or at least a story for us, and it's a nutritional one. Welcome to the podcast, Sean.
Hey, thanks, Erson. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on. And I look forward to talking to you a little bit about nutrition and physical therapy.
Sure. Give a quick intro and then tell your story.
Sure. Well, I'm Dr. Sean Wells. I'm a physical therapist, personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach, as well as an athletic trainer. My background, I've taught 4 years at Florida Gulf Coast University in the Department of Physical Therapy, and I started a cash-based PT practice in 2011, where we incorporated physical therapy, personal training, and massage therapy. I sold that physical location, and now I'm completely mobile with 2 offices, one in St. Augustine and one in Naples, Florida. And we provide mobile physical therapy and personal training with a big focus on holistic care, looking at everything from not just physical functioning, but well-being, sleep, nutrition, and love what I do. And it's great being able to work with people and see them as a whole person and not just as a total knee replacement or someone with shoulder pain. So.
Sounds good. So what's your story?
Well, I can think of one guy I was helping. It was really quite funny. So he's actually former Special Forces, a little bit larger gentleman. He's had some persistent knee pain. And so as I'm taking the history, he's telling me stories about his time in the Army. And it turns out he actually ends up being a former Delta Force member. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Apocalypse Now. Have you seen that movie? Erson?
I'm sorry, I was muted.
No.
It's been a long time since I've seen Apocalypse Now, but I know about Delta Force.
Yeah, so he was like one of those characters, like running back and forth across Cambodia, and so this what normally takes a 15-minute history ended up being like an hour long, right? So I'm sitting there going, man, I've got to wrap this up. But long story short, he's got bilateral knee pain, and so we're talking about different ways that we can intervene, not only physically, but knowing my background and looking at the holistic aspect. I start talking to him about his diet, and he goes into length about he's Italian, and oh man, I eat this big heavy pasta meal with all this red sauce and hamburger crumbled in it, and I'm thinking, oh man, I can only imagine. And then finishes it off with huge cheesecake afterwards, and I'm thinking, yeah, we've got a lot of talking points here to discuss on not only saturated fat, but also cutting down on calories and increasing in vegetables and things. So I'm thinking I've already got enough content there. So, well, one thing I was like, I always ask people like, what do you drink? What's your beverage of choice, if you will? And so he turns around and tells me that his routine beverage of choice is Coke. And I said, oh, well, it's not an ideal beverage, obviously, because of the sugars and things. So if you can really, cut back, that'd be good. And I said, could you give me some specifics? Like how many Cokes are you drinking per day? He tells me, I'm drinking on average about anywhere from 18 to 24 Cokes a day. And I almost
that's a lot.
I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, wow, okay, so that is way too much. And as a starting point, just from a general health standpoint, not even providing specific nutrition like for his problem for his knee, I said 18 to 24 Cokes is not good for you from a general health standpoint, let alone for your knee problem. So that's a first week goal was to cut back from 18 to 24 to half of that, and second week goal from 12 down to half of that, and with the eventual goal to try to get down to at least 1 or 2 a day after a 4-week period. So it was quite comical. And also, here's this special forces guy, former Army dude, and he's cranking away on Cokes. And I'm thinking, man, I thought I had, my work cut out for me based on the fact that his diet was already sort of heavy on fat and low on fruits and veg. And also with the knee pain and having to get him back to physical functioning, the Cokes was quite a surprise. So that's one of the stories I have in terms of nutrition and how I've incorporated in with physical therapy.
Well, did you ever do any other nutritional planning for him, get him to introduce a little bit more fruits and veggies, and did it help his knee pain?
I did, yeah. So we started talking about it and really started looking at, there's a real easy, it's called a fruit and vegetable screener, and it's a simple like one-sheeter that you can provide clients, and you can ask them, hey, fill this out, bring it back when you come back. And I looked at his fruit and vegetables, and it was kind of standard, like what most Americans you would see, about 1.5 fruits, 1.5 vegetables a day. And most of those veggies are, like usually potatoes that are fried in some format. And the fruit is like, a juice and maybe like a canned fruit or something like that. So from there, I was able to really set a goal for him to start consuming more like fresh fruits and more fresh vegetables, with a target goal of, at least getting a combination of 5 a day, although that's not ideal. Ideally, you want a heck of a lot more than that. That was a good starting point, at least for him, for a 4-week period. So.
All right. And then his knees end up doing better though, after all the changes?
Yes, sorry. Of course. Yeah. Obviously with the standard, traditional physical therapy that we look at, like strengthening work on his quads and working on body weight squats. And his body composition shifted, obviously cutting back on the 24 Cokes. He lost some weight, and
yeah, I can imagine.
Studies show, obviously as you lose body mass from fat, your inflammatory cytokines go down, and all the other inflammatory markers like sed rate and things will also kind of go down. And so his sensitivity and threat to pain is obviously diminished as well. So he responded really well. And he, for a while, he was kind of periodically using a cane, limping quite a bit. And he was able to go back to a normal walking pattern, not use a cane. And it was a really good case. Yeah. And I haven't followed up with him in a while. I need to reach out to him, see how he's doing. But last time I saw him, he was still doing just fine.
Yeah, so that's great. And I think Sean, like me, is plant-based, and he has an amazing certificate program that I am almost finished with. Do you want to plug that out?
Sure. So, the course website is nutritionalphysicaltherapy.com. We offer a certification in nutrition for physical therapists, and this is specific to physical therapy related outcomes, and it's offered over 3 courses to earn the certificate. The first course being an introduction to nutrition that covers introduction basics of nutrition and general health. And that's open to PTs and PTAs. The second course is the nutrition assessment and prescription course. This course goes into evaluation and prescribing specific diets for specific diseases. This course and the third course are for PTs only because they involve evaluation and prescription. The third course is our specialized nutrition for physical therapy course, and that course really dives into some of these specialty and subspecialty populations. And in that course, we look at, for instance, like sports, pediatrics, even some on women's health. We talk about specific to supplementation and some guidelines around that. And it's really kind of a niche course, and one of probably my favorite of the three courses. So once practitioners complete all three, provide their PT license, they get the certificate, and can, in some states, it allows them to be able to provide more enhanced nutrition practices. And of course, it's dependent on the state you are on, the laws and regs for your specific state.
Sure. I mean, I think that was actually one of the more, pertinent and impressive research that you had done, because I'm plant-based certified through eCornell. And while I learned a lot for that and how to, just even for myself and also for my patients and clients, it's just not specific to physical therapists. So because yours is specific to physical therapists, it has like the handy state map, and it's different color coded as to whether or not you can actually provide nutritional info, how much you can provide, can it be related to a diagnosis? And, I think you're cash-based, I'm cash-based, and it's a great opportunity if it is in your practice act, or at least partially in your practice act, or maybe even wellness is in your practice act, to be able to, provide an additional kind of revenue stream, and also to be able to help patients who are not necessarily responding to just traditional PT only, because they may have like some sort of systemic inflammatory process going on that can be greatly changed by their nutritional profile.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. And as healthcare providers, we are permitted to provide general nutritional counseling to any patient as long as you've had the training. So if you're providing education just around things like, hey, it's healthy to eat more fruits and vegetables, or hey, it's healthy not to eat or drink 24 Cokes, that doesn't really require, any specific registered dietitian, credential. Those are just general recommendations. So any PT in any state can provide some of those tidbits, and a lot of those tidbits are covered in our course, and we go into detail about those.
Yeah, so I think almost anyone who's alive is qualified to tell another person that they're not supposed to be drinking 24 Cokes a day.
Right? Yeah, it doesn't take a master's degree in nutrition to educate someone that's probably not right.
Right. Did he have any real teeth? That's amazing,
Oh
right?
man, yeah, his teeth were not in the best shape, but
Yeah.
I don't think that was really his concern at this point in time. It's like, I've been doing this for how long, and I don't really care. But eventually he saw the light and realized he had to, because he didn't want to have a bilateral total knee replacement. And he knew that he'd been kind of threatened by some people. And sometimes that's what it takes,
For sure. Nothing like a little threat to make people change their habits.
Seriously.
Yeah. All right. Well, I partnered with Dr. Wells to do a free webinar, 1 hour webinar on how nutrition can potentially change performance and chronic pain. So look for that sign up soon. It'll be in the show notes and also on themanualtherapist.com and in my social media. That is, what is it, the end of July, right?
Correct.
Sometime?
Yes. Yeah. End of July. I don't have the date in front of me, but it'll be up on our social media and we'll be promoting it. So come and join, check it out, and we'll talk about nutrition and hopefully answer some of your questions or maybe pique your interest even more.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Sean. I hope to get you back on the podcast soon.
Thanks, Erson. Appreciate it.
Well, you can find me, Dr. E, at Modern Rehab Mastery. That's our new online mentoring program. It includes modern manual therapy, modern patient education, and modern strength training. It's 3 months with 3 mentors. So 1 month with each mentor, 4 weeks, tons of modules, lots of CEUs, learn at your own pace for a month, then move on. So go beyond the seminar. You also get chat room with your mentees and mentors, and live Q&As every week. Check out all my products, Edge Mobility System. We have the new Edge ISTM toolbox that includes the Edge Mobility Star and the OG Edge Mobility tool, our Edge Restriction System BFR cuffs. That's part of Dr. Kyle Coffey's Modern Strength Training BFR certificate. I hope to see you at a live eclectic approach course soon. That's modern manual therapy in US, Canada, and South America. And make sure to rate Untold Physio Stories 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. You could also subscribe on Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. And as always, you guys have an awesome day.